It's the Underdogs back with you for a special Christmas Day NBA episode. I'm your host, Jordan Brenner, joined by my co-host, the man with the most, Peter Keating. Peter, what special episode is this for us? Like number 73, 74? Where are we on our
Well,
holiday
Jordan, all
recap?
episodes are special that we do together, but this is a very special episode. We're jingling and we're balling at the same time here with the underdogs on
Well,
getting
if you
ready for.
haven't had enough of us yet, you can check out our NFL Christmas Day episode, our regular podcast from this week, which includes our top 10 underdog stories of the year. You can catch our crossover episode with the Cooligans, which also looks at Boxing Day fixtures in the Premier League. But now it's time to talk NBA. Christmas Day is always one of the best days on the NBA calendar. We got 5 games to go over. There's a little bit of uncertainty. Obviously, it's Friday as we're recording this. A lot changes day to day in the NBA. But we're going to give you some thoughts, and then we're going to build a parlay at the end that we think will be a lot of fun to bet on. We'll get it up on DraftKings. We'll promote it. We can root together. Sound good, Peter?
This is it. This is the early season peak. The reason the NBA even did its in-season tournament is because they wanted people to start paying attention before this. But this is when a lot of people start paying attention. And you have the big heavyweights in action on Christmas Day. This is a big NBA day. And I don't know that it's going to be a big underdog day, but it's a big NBA Christmas Day.
All right, let's get the ball rolling. First game of the day, noon.
I think you mean bouncing. Let's get the ball bouncing, Jordan. I don't really like this thing where they roll the ball up till the clock starts going.
First game of the day, Bucks at Knicks. Right now, the spread, the Bucks are favored by 4.5 points. The over under 224.5. I know at one point before you looked into the numbers, you were about to kind of jump all in on the Knicks, and then I think I corrected you appropriately.
Yeah, Jordan. A couple of weeks ago, when I first started looking at numbers, the Bucks' scoring differential was not as good as their record. Right, they've been winning games all year, but I thought they were still finding their footing. You know, maybe they're getting used to Damian Lillard driving things. And the Knicks have been playing really well. I mean, Jalen Brunson has been playing like one of the very best point guards in the league. It was hard for me to see the Knicks in what's going to be their second game against the Bucks in 3 days at home. I thought they might be value as an underdog, but Jordan, over the past 5 or 10 games, the Bucks are ripping the cover off the ball. I mean, they are explosive on offense. And in this particular game, Mitchell Robinson is out for the Knicks, which really dents their offense. The interior just collapses against high-scoring teams. Jordan, who's going to stop Giannis on Christmas from giving himself every present he wants? That's my question.
Right. So I should preface this by saying this is not like analyzing NFL games. In general, two random things happen in NBA games. There's 82 regular season games. Good teams lose to bad teams unless they're the Pistons. So
and there's no such thing as a starting pitcher. It's even more random than picking daily baseball, daily baseball games.
That said, there's some trends you can look at here. First of all, the Bucks are 19-8 to the over this year, and 6-2 when it's an over when the total is actually below 230. And as I said, it's 224.5. So they've been blowing past that all season. Knicks are actually 14-10 to the over when it's below 230 as well. So that points to that. If you want to pick a side, look, the Bucks have won 8 straight games against the Knicks. So there's certainly a lot to like on the money line there, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But you mentioned Mitchell Robinson, and that to me is the biggest change in sort of our analysis here. So prior to the Mitchell Robinson injury, the Knicks had a defensive rating of 113.8. That's an adjusted points scored per 100 possessions, if you're not familiar. And they were playing at a pace of 95.5 possessions. Since Robinson was lost for the year, their defensive rating has gone all the way up to 121.5, which is really, really, a significant
it's abysmal. It's a big jump and it's bad news. It's a big jump and it's bad news.
In defensive ability. And they're playing faster.
And they're playing faster.
So both of those things point to the under. Both of those things point toward the over really being in play in this game. The Knicks, look, it's not just that they lost Mitchell Robinson. They had a two-headed sort of center monster of doing the little things with him and Isaiah Hartenstein. Now Hartenstein has to play more minutes, makes him less effective. They even lost his backup. Jericho Sims is hurt. So what they're doing with those backup 5 minutes is really hard. It's a chance for other teams to feast on them.
Jordan, I
It's a
want I
tough.
want to make one thing clear. There's a case to be made that Hartenstein should be playing more with Randall and Brunson. They're more effective with him on the floor. At least they score more. And the Knicks have this thing where they seem to play a second unit as opposed to rotating players in who are more effective with each other. There's something to sort out there for the Knicks, but while Hartenstein's in the starting lineup, they're vulnerable defensively. The last time these two teams played, you talk about the over, they combined for 268 points, and the Knicks got
Right.
wiped out.
So we're not going to include the over in our parlay that we're going to get to later, but I think that's something it's a line to monitor. You can lock it in now if you want. I don't think it's a bad bet to root for over 224.5. So keep that in mind. Game number 2 on Christmas Day. The Golden State Warriors travel to the NBA champion Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are favored by 4.5 points. The over-under is 230.5 right now. In general, Peter, I don't really get this line. Quite frankly, the Nuggets aren't playing their best basketball, but they're certainly playing a lot better than the Warriors. And at home in Denver, significant home court advantage. 4.5 is intriguing. No?
The Warriors are one of those teams the public loves and keeps everyone's just waiting for them to get it together. But I fear we are really kind of at the end of the road here. I mean, Chris Paul is shooting under 32% on threes. He has not been. I thought he was going to bring the answers to what was ailing the Nuggets from last year. He has not. The Draymond Green suspension is indefinite, and who even knows if they're a better team with him on the floor at this point. I don't want to go all Don Meredith on you. I don't have the best voice in the world, but I kind of feel like I should start singing "Turn Out the Light, the Party's Over."
So I'm not going to say the party's over yet because this team has the ability to make a couple moves. I've been talking about this for a while, that the sneaky part of the Chris Paul trade is that in the NBA, you actually want big contracts as a trade chip because it makes this dollar for dollar trading easier. So they could take on a player who around the deadline who might have an expiring deal, who's making a lot of money, who a team's looking to get away from, and they can use Paul's contract to facilitate that. So I do think this team is going to make a move or two, and they still have, arguably the most dangerous player in the game in Steph Curry.
Yeah, but
So
you got
I
to
don't
figure
want
out you got to figure out who's going to play effectively around Curry, and so far the answers
right.
are vanishingly thin in the cupboard. I mean, I noticed Trace Jackson Davis of all people, right, went plus 20, was plus 25 when they beat the Celtics in overtime. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something Kuminga. I don't know, but who else is playing well for this team, Jordan?
No, I mean Andrew Wiggins has fallen apart. Klay Thompson is not the same player anymore. There are issues.
Sad.
But I think there are more paths to solutions as well. Speaking of Steph Curry, here's an interesting one for you, Peter. Again, a number of these games were played, going all the way back to 2010, right? When it was a different era, the pace was slower,
Yeah,
and so forth. But Steph Curry has played 9 Christmas games. He actually hasn't played one since 2021. In 9 Christmas games, he's only scored 20 or more points once. It was that last game. It was that last game, the 2021 game versus Phoenix. He had 33 points.
Wow.
Overall, he's only averaged 15.3 points per game. So that could be just one of those things that's a thing until it's not.
Right.
And
it's also partially scheduling and whatnot, right? I mean, even to get into 9 Christmas games, but still, that's a little odd.
Yeah, and so if you want to monitor his player props haven't come out yet. That's why we're not talking about them. But if you want to, take a look when it comes out and say, you know what, I'm going to go with the trends. I'm going to bet the under. There's reasons to do it.
And also, Jordan, in the meantime, this is what happens when when people look at the West, they focus on the Warriors. But you said the Nuggets aren't even playing their best ball yet, but they have the 7th highest net rating in the league. And Jokic is having a fantastic season, and he's surrounded by guys who shoot 38, 40, 45% on threes. This is a fun, dangerous team. And
they should be better than a fun, dangerous team. They're the NBA champions, and they're not clicking.
Okay, but Jamal Murray was hurt, right?
They're not. They will tell you that they are not clicking on the same cylinders as last year. They are still looking to build a bench. They're not right now optimized. That said, okay, they are a better team than the Warriors. They've won 4 straight against the Warriors, once this year, 3 last year. If you're looking for a counter argument to everything I just said about the Nuggets being more than 4.5 points better than the Warriors, it's this. The Warriors, for as much as they've struggled this year, are 5-1 against the spread on the road against teams with a 60% winning percentage or better this year. including a 3-point loss to the Nuggets in early November with a game with an identical 4.5-point spread. So the Warriors have stepped up on the road against better competition this year. This to me, it feels like it's got, Jokic domination written all over it.
When Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Reggie Jackson are on the floor at the same time, I mean, they're outscoring opponents by more than 9 points in about 18 minutes a game. They'll click.
So you want more Reggie Jackson? That's your answer for this?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of, all right. I said fun and dangerous, and you didn't like that. But it's kind of cool when he and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Reggie Jackson and Murray are all on the floor around Jokic. I mean, Jokic. That is a fun squad.
Fun and dangerous sounds like you're talking about some plucky 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. This is the defending NBA champion. The bar is not fun and dangerous.
But the central character in that cast is on the verge of averaging a triple-double again.
Right.
So I mean, it's not some plucky little upstart.
No, I'm saying you're underselling the expectations.
It's this all-time superstar, best player in the league, surrounded by those kind of guys, fun, dangerous guys who make the team awesome.
Speaking of all-time generational talents, we move on to the third game of the day, the Celtics at the Lakers, and a guy you might know named LeBron. Lakers obviously fresh off the in-season tournament championship. Right now, the Celtics are favored by 1.5 on the road. The over-under is sitting at a whopping 239.5. A few stats to run through on this one. Lakers are only 12-17 against the spread this year. They're 5-7 at home, 3-8 against the spread with a team with teams with 60% winning percentages or better. Celtics 13-12-2 against the spread this year, only 3-8-2 on the road. So there's not a lot of spread indicators there. The over is 3-11 in Lakers home games, so that would make you think maybe the under is in play. Celtics are 7-6 toward the under in their road games. But league-wide trend, if a total is 239 or more in the league this year, a very high total, the over is actually 33-19. A lot of numbers to think about.
There's a lot of numbers there. How about the basic fact that the Celtics are just way better than the Lakers? The Lakers are a middle-of-the-road team this season, and the Celtics' record is fully justified by the underlying stats. I mean, how about that? I know there's injuries at play in the line, but why shouldn't we expect the Celtics to just kind of take it to them?
Because the Lakers have shown that they can and will step up when the games matter.
Now that's interesting. I wanted to ask you about that because you brought up Steph Curry on Christmas. You know who the all-time leader in points and assists in Christmas games is?
Well, of course it's LeBron.
Of course it's LeBron, and his teams are 10-7. And I didn't think they were going to do well in the in-season tournament, and then they went out and won it. Do you actually think there's something to the idea that on these national stage, big-time games against big-time opponents, LeBron can impose his will to a greater extent than we might still expect, or than anybody else in the history of basketball? I mean, that level of dominance makes a difference in a one-game match on Christmas Day.
I think motivation matters. I think they'll come to play. Okay. I think they'll, assuming that these nagging injuries, LeBron missed last night's game, assuming that these nagging injuries don't keep anyone out, and again, that's something to monitor. I think the Lakers have big goals for this season. They want to win a championship. I know they're 15-14, but Anthony Davis is playing great. 15 straight double-doubles, I believe. This is a tricky one, right? Because you're right. Most accounts would say the Celtics are a significantly better team, but they're on the road. They're going cross-country on Christmas Day against a team with two phenomenal players who will be motivated.
It's very hard for me to pick a team that's been outscored so far against the Celtics, who may be, I think, would you agree with this? The best version of the recent Celtics is this version with Porzingis?
I don't know. I need to see more of it. I love Drew Holiday, and that's, I think, a big difference for them as well. But, that's we'll see. So keep that one in mind. Celtics -1.5 sounds like it could be in play for you. I'm hemming and hawing a little bit. Let's go to the next game. We're into the evening now on Christmas. You've been stuffing yourself. I don't know. What do you do in your household on Christmas Day? What by 8 p.m. what's going on?
by 8 p.m., the number of people who are actually mobile has shrunk to one or two people like my mom trying to clean plates. I mean, we are we we are pretty toasted. Speaking of teams that are middling and who people expect to be better than their record just because there's mystique around them, how about the Heat? I mean, the Heat are very slow, so their offense is a little better
Well,
than it
let's just
looks.
begin. We're
But
talking about we didn't.
oh,
Never talk about
I'm
the
sorry. We're
game.
talking about the Sixers at the Heat. Sixers are 1 point underdogs at the moment, right?
Yeah, last I saw was 1.5, and the over under was 218.5.
Okay.
So that is, I think we both are thinking the same thing. There is a stat at Cleaning the Glass run by the great Ben Falk, called spread differential. It's the team's average point differential relative to the spread. Number one team in the league this year, that'd be the Philadelphia 76ers, who are beating the spread by an average of 6.3 points. The Heat, for what it's worth, are 13th at 0.6. Advanced metrics love the Sixers. They're first in net rating on Cleaning the Glass. They're outscoring opponents by 11 points per 100 possessions, taking out garbage time. The Heat are 18th, basically even at 0.1. So other than the fact that this game is in Miami and the Heat do have a bit of a mystique about them, as you mentioned, there's no argument for the Heat to be a favorite in this game.
No.
By the way, the Heat are 3-10 at home against the spread.
Right. Right. I mean, and if anything, the Sixers have been a little unlucky. Right? They have 18 wins because of the point differential. They should probably have like 21 wins. I mean, Embiid's having this out of his mind season. And I'll tell you what actually scares me about the Heat, which may just be a sign that things were clicking in a little bit of a special way last year that was unsustainable. This year, they're allowing opponents to shoot 37.7% on threes, which is the seventh worst in the league. Last year, they were down at 34.4%, which was the fourth best in the league. Now, I know volume's more important than shooting percentage on threes, but that's a pretty big drop and a pretty big component of the game. And I just don't think there's the extra special there that's supposed to be there with this team this year.
Right. And I love, I love the way the Sixers are playing. I think there's a bit of addition by subtraction with James Harden there, to be honest. You're seeing the full Tyrese Maxey experience, and man, he's an excellent guard. I like the role players stepping in place of Harden, the DeAnthony Meltons of the world. When they can get Batum and Covington healthy from that trade, I think that's going to be sort of even more difficult for teams to defend their versatility.
And Maxey's having a crazy season, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. 26 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic.
They have enough scoring. Look, I do think this team will make another move by the deadline, but I like the way they're going right now. And this is one, don't wait on this. By the way, we don't even know Jimmy Butler's calf will respond by Monday. So look, I think if you can lock this in now, the Sixers getting 1.5 points, just take it. They're the better team. I know it's a road game. I know it's the NBA. I know it's Christmas. I know it's South Beach, the rest of it. But if that's what you're banking on, I think you're better off.
If the sign is a plus, this best is a must. This bet is a must.
Last game of the day, and we're going to spend the least amount of time on it because there's too much uncertainty. The Mavericks are at the Suns. Quite frankly, the entire Mavericks team is injured. So right now, the line is setting at the line is setting at the Sun. The line is sitting with the Suns at -5.5. The over/under is 225.5. But again, like if you look at the Mavericks injury report, Luka's hurt. We don't know if he'll be back. Kyrie, no timetable.
Irving's still out. Nobody knows when he's going to coming back either.
That's Kyrie, as I mentioned. Derek Lively hurt. Josh Green banged up. Maxey Kleber. So I don't know how you do anything with this game at this point. The Mavericks, for what it's worth, are 9-5 against the spread on the road, while the Suns 5-10 against the spread at home. If everybody were full strength, I'd say those are a couple interesting trends to target. They're not. So instead, I think it'll be interesting to watch the Suns. They're playing without Bradley Beal. Can this team get it together to make a real championship run with their big three? I have my doubts.
Well, the key to them playing better is just having everybody on the floor. And at least Booker and Durant are playing together in this game. And when Booker and Durant play with Eric Gordon, they're extraordinarily effective. They hit almost 50% of their threes. You just got to get everybody playing together. That's the only key. And they'll have more of their guys together than the Mavericks will in this game.
Yeah, I have longer term concerns about this team. I think I liked a couple of the role players they brought in, the Yuta Watanabes of the world, et cetera, but I still think they don't have enough defensive versatility. I'm still concerned about where the ball's going to go in a big spot with Beal, Booker, Durant. It should go to Durant, but in terms of sharing the ball, I like Yusuf Nurkic. I'm not sure defensively if he will be the anchor they need in the playoffs. So there's some concerns with this team,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
interesting
just
construction, but you better get your questions answered before Durant gets any older, is all I'm saying. I mean, they better make it work with this group. I'm not, I'm not holding my breath for, I'm not holding my breath for answers to come in that aren't already there to answer the questions you have. But I
right.
think they're decidedly the better team in this matchup on Christmas.
All right. So let's talk parlay. Okay. So we've thrown out a bunch of individual bets we like, but I think we're going to create a fun parlay that is the antithesis of underdogs because we're going to go money line on 3 teams backed by all NBA big men. So we're going to take
Right.
the Bucks to win at the Knicks behind Giannis.
Yep.
We're going to take the Nuggets to win at home with
Sounds
Jokic,
good.
and we're going to take Embiid and the Sixers at Miami to win. So that 3-leg parlay, I think gets you what, like about plus 386, plus 396, depending
Yeah.
on the moment.
We're close to plus 400, depending on the exact numbers. But Jordan,
Right. So
you've been saying for a while that big men are actually kind of the underdogs of the league. I know the archetypical Jordan in love with player right now would be a big man who's a good passer, right? And we have 3 great big men who can move the ball.
well, 3 great big men who do everything. Yes,
Who are
in
all
general.
world.
Yeah, in general, look, big men have become like you talk about replacement level right now. It's compared to replacement level. There's less difference. It's a guard oriented game, small ball, pace and space, shoot threes. But these guys, break the mold. They can do all
Yes.
that and still score in the post. They're
Right.
versatile.
So they're worthy Goliaths for us as
Yes.
underdog lovers to appreciate.
Exactly. And look, 2 of them are favorites. So we're not going like a full-on underdog theme here, but it is fun to say the underdogs are, embracing Goliath today in the post. Yeah. So yeah, no, let's go through that one more time. We're starting with the Bucks to win at the
And wait,
Knicks.
what would your personal over under be on Giannis scoring in this game?
Yeah, 30.
Oh man, I would say I think he's going to be fiercely unstoppable, and I'm worried as a Knicks fan about where that's going to end.
Yeah,
up.
but you know what? If they focus their defense on him, then he's just going to open up, Lillard, Middleton, and Brook Lopez from 3. They have so many ways to beat you. So we're good on that first leg, right? Bucks to win money line.
Bucks beating the Knicks.
We're cool with the Nuggets money line at home against the Warriors. I could see the Warriors being competitive, but I think this game will matter to the Nuggets. I don't think there's even remotely an answer for Jokic on that team defensively. By the way, last Christmas, Jokic's numbers, do you remember what he did against the Suns?
I don't actually.
41, 15, and 15.
Oh, is that it? That is just another day at the office.
Yeah, just a decent performance for Jokic. So we're gonna go with
Jordan, it's coming for the Warriors. It's turn out the lights.
Oh God, I can't take it.
The party's over. Go ahead. What's the third leg of the parlay?
The parlay is not over. So again, second leg, we're taking Nuggets. And third, let's take the quote unquote underdog Sixers at Miami. Right. Our friends at the Le Batard Show and other listeners can complain about Heat disrespect all they want, but the fact is they're not a great team. The Sixers are playing great. I'm going with Joel Embiid on the road, a monster, a worthy MVP. This team's just playing much better. Let's take the money line.
Good things must end.
Right. And then you can sprinkle in a couple other things if you want. Like we talked about this, maybe you like the Celtics, maybe you like the over in that game. I think I'm definitely gonna put a little money down on the Knicks Bucks over. But let's ride. Yeah, Knicks Bucks over 225.
Yeah, you can get how high you can get that over jacked up.
Right. But let's roll with this parlay. 3 legs. Again, you're scoring at home. The Bucks, the Nuggets, and the Sixers to win outright on Christmas Day. You can look for that all over DraftKings. They'll have it. It'll have our Underdogs logo on it.
And you can claim that there was an underdog in there since the Sixers are misevaluated as the underdog in that game.
Exactly. So come root with us.
Call it a night.
Until then, I am.
The party's over.
That is.
And tomorrow start the same old thing again.
Dying animal.
Join us next week when we start the same old thing again.
Yeah,
this has been a great holiday season full of bets, parlays, underdogs all over the place.
Yes. And until then, check us out on X. I'm at Jordan Brenner. He is at Peter Keating NJ. Let us know what you think. Where are you putting your money? Do you agree with our top 10 underdog stories of the year?
Vote in our underdog poll.
We'll see you in 2024.
Happy New Year, everybody.